Once again, welcome. I'm Pastor Monica Jefferson, Pastor Monica J, and this is Just a Thought. In today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about bold things to say and bold things to do with my underlying scripture for this podcast and of faith. Remember, I said that I am a retired clergy woman after 31 years, and this is what God, through prayer, has helped me discern is part of my what's next, a way of cultivating my spiritual life by sharing my journey with you. Drawing from this particular scripture where Jesus is the vine and the believers are the branches. I am one of those believers. In this discussion, which will be my final discussion on this concept of boldness, it's about staying deeply connected to a source in our lives that can ground us and that can help us when we get off kilter, find our way back to our best selves. A relationship with God not only impacts me or you, but it impacts and influences the lives of others. So some key highlights of this particular text that is foundational to me, John 15:5. It reminds me that Christ is my true source, the true source for believers, where you can get strength and guidance. Believers are branches. I am a branch, and so I am a believer. This idea gives me strength and purpose. And God, big God, is the gardener. This idea of God in three, one God who reveals who God is in some very specific ways throughout Scripture to help us grow spiritually, bear fruit, to be ambassadors of God through and in Jesus Christ. Each and every one of us are to bear fruit. That's the bold things to say and bold things to do. And we have all kinds of spiritual gifts, talents, and skills. Some have gifts of prophecy and teaching, encouragement, to give back. And there's so much more. At some point in time in the future, I will talk about fruitfulness and the gifts that God gives us. But this whole idea of being connected in this particular text, for me, allows me to say bold things through the discernment with God and to be involved in the world that needs people who believe and know that they can make a positive difference. Every believer is called to live a life of going. And it doesn't necessarily mean leaving your house if you're housebound, but it means stepping out in bold obedience, doing what you can to make a positive difference. Trusting in the guidance of God. And we can learn from examples in the biblical text. The story of the rich young ruler in Mark 10:17 and 22 reminds us that it isn't about wealth, it's about relationship. It is about being a part of making a positive difference. Your wealth doesn't make you good or bad, but it's how you use what you have to help others. That's why giving, to live generously, blessing others is so important to this idea of bold things to say and bold things to do. And I believe what Jesus was talking about when he said, I am the vine and you are the branches. to live with humility yet in openness, to embrace the challenges and continue to be a lifetime learner with faith and trust in God. And we are to follow the promptings of God, who continues to be with us. We need to take time to be still, to be in prayer and devotion, and ask God to order our steps each and every day. And so my reflection is, how do our choices affect not only our lives, but also the lives of others? That's what I'm talking about when I talk about this idea, bold things to say and bold things to do. This podcast is part of my bold things to say and bold things to do. For 31 years, I stood in pulpits and talked about and preached the gospel, about the living and breathing Christ that still continues to change me and transform us. It's necessary for all of us to have principles and values that ground us and help lead others into understanding the roots of this deeper faith journey that we're all going on together. So what is my takeaway from this idea about boldness? Bold belief, bold faith, bold things to say and bold things to do. Where Jesus, for me, says, I'm the vine and you are the branches. You see, without the vine, we cannot grow, bear fruit, without staying connected to a source that is higher to us, to God, through prayer, studying scripture, and obeying God's invitation and call on our lives. We can live a going life. Remember I said, we are commissioned to go, to bless others, while we ourselves are being fulfilled. Reflect on your own life today, your spiritual life, your actual life. Are you fully connected to the vine? Do you have a scripture or a saying that grounds you? Are you allowing God to prune you to help you let go and pick up? Let go of some things and pick up new things that will allow you to expand beyond where you are. Because what I do and what you do affects not only those around us today, but for generations to come. And so let our bold belief and faith, things to say and things to do, always make a positive difference to the glory of God. So our call to action from this Boldness series is, I ask you to look at this series again about what it means to be bold, to reflect daily, to encourage daily, and to share this podcast with someone. What steps are you trying to take to stay connected to God, to stay connected to a source and a power that is more powerful to you? Do you have a spiritual vine on this journey of life? So, tune in next time when I will have another thought, just a thought. I'm Monica Jefferson, Pastor Monica J. This is just a thought, where I am a bold believer with bold faith, bold things to say and bold things to do, where Jesus is the vine and I am the branch. You can contact me. And so my website is pastormonicaj.org. You can email me at pastormonicaj@gmail.com. Until next time, this has been Just a Thought. God bless, and I love you.